Sunday Showdown time. And we're being lazy tonight. And by lazy, I mean me. And by we, I mean we're going to watch Heather play some more Mass Effect. Picking up where we left off the last time. Of course, my father picks now to call. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. We
you want
tried
to have
call
a quick call with him, and I'll distract chat.
Yeah, you know what? Go for it and play, and I'll mute myself here and talk to him for just a minute, and then I'll get back with you guys. See you in a bit.
All right, chat. It is Heather time. Petal Blossom has taken over the channel. So let's just review a little bit of what's going on here. We're still going through our assignments because we want to make sure that Liara is leveled up before we go to Novaria. So let's take a look here. On our side missions, like see Citadel the Fan, if we go to the Citadel, we'll make sure to make contact with him. UNSC hostile takeover. Helena Blake, a high-ranking member of a criminal cartel, has asked you to eliminate 2 of her unpleasant compatriots. Their bases are located in the Han and Dis systems. After eliminating them, meet Miss Blake in the Fortuna system for a reward. So we're going to go to the Han and Dis systems. But before that, how about some dialogue? I'm pretty sure Garrus is going to be more interested in after us once we do the Dr. Saleon mission. Let's check up on Rex. Wow, why'd you become Mercy? Lots of reasons, maybe. Like, elaborate. I think I have to turn up the volume for you, chat. Because it's low, even for me, but I think I have to deal with that in the settings of the actual game. So let's get through this conversation, and I will just read everything. He says, lots of reasons. And I go, yes, such as? Such as, needed to get out of our system, I needed to eat, I needed to survive. Why leave? Why not stay and help your people? I tried to help, that's why I had to leave. Really? What happened? I was betrayed. I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Gerard, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians, but he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting. Reckless. What about you? What did you want? I just wanted Gerard to shut up! To stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray, but he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the Genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We need to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. Which, I mean, why would they be against that? And for a while we were getting through, so if the tribes started coming around. What about Gerard? I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that. No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes, a meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. No, he didn't. We met at the hollows near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we came from and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden. And you went? That's risky. Sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much. I did, but when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws even we hold sacred. Your father! Drama! Gerard was your father? He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. Damn. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back. Damn, bro. Yeah, that's fair. You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them? You're trying to make me cry, Shepard. I've got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all. Well, don't we all? Really? What kind of business? Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising. Armor. What's so important about this armor? It's a relic. Useless, really, but it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war. It's rightfully mine. Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war. Now it's in the hands of Ton Actus, a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods, all fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor. I'll look for it. Just tell me where to start looking. I'll upload the data to your nav system, but Commander, I want to be there when you find him. Sure. Yeah, kill a guy. You do it all the time. So let's adjust this volume here, because boy, is that's so. Brawny's and that dialogue volume is supposed to be loud. Man. Okay. So here's what I'll do, chat. I gotta hit the Windows button, but don't we worry about that. I got to get to the volume mixer, really. Open volume mixer. Ah, that would explain it! Yeah, I think it needs to be a little bit louder, like midway. Yeah, because like Brawny says, the volume mixing is pretty bad on this game. Yeah, this is fine. All right, so we have a new mission. Rex's family armor. We need to recover it. All right, so let's see. Brawny's still gone, so let's take a look and see if there's anything. I think I already went through stuff before we left last week, last time we played, not last week. I'm pretty sure we didn't play last week. And oh, and chat, I also want you to keep in mind, I can't see the chat. Oh yeah, I see Brawny DM me saying the chat can't hear the game audio. That's why I was reading everything aloud. I did turn it up a bit, but anyhow, I actually can't read the chat because Brawny was supposed to look at the chat. So I'm just kind of just going off. Let's talk to Ashley. Well, actually, I want to. Well, I guess Brawny. Maybe Brawny will want to listen to what Ashley talks about. I don't know. Let's go talk to Tally.
Let's go talk to Tally.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
oh no, you're here. Now we can talk to Ashley.
Sorry about that. That took a few minutes longer than I thought it would. So yeah, I got. You know what? I'm just gonna let the chat know what's going on a little bit here. About a month ago, my father had his hips replaced. And yeah, and he's been having a real rough recovery period. And of course, today is Father's Day. If y'all are, in contact with your father, or if he's well, make sure to reach out and talk to him if you haven't already. Yeah, god dang. But so yeah, I really wanted to make sure he was doing better. He's actually having a good day today. He wasn't in nearly as much pain today as he was like on Friday when I talked to him. So that's good. Hopefully things will start getting better here.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned Father's Day. So we got a very interesting backstory from Rex that you missed that I kind of had to read out because the volume was so low. But, so he was telling us about why he won't ever go back to his home planet. Rex was one of the few Krogan at the end of the wars where, like, the Krogan were, like, basically sterilized and all that. And he was one of the few outspoken individuals that said, hey, we shouldn't focus on fighting and making war with other species. We should focus on breeding because 90% of our children are stillborn. We got to rebuild our numbers. We got to recoup. But of course, some old geriatric bastard is like, no, war must continue. Let's fight everybody. aliens, our own, don't give a fuck. So that's that. So he was in a disagreement with this guy to a bad point, but a few people were turning in his direction. But eventually, that old geriatric fuck says, like, okay, let's meet on neutral ground and talk about this. And they do. There are some laws that even they hold sacred. But I asked Rex, like, hey, this kind of smells like a trap. Didn't you think as much? And he's like, yeah. But, you know, when your father invites you out to a graveyard to talk family business, you kind of have to go. And it's like, what? That guy was your dad?
Jeez,
And
that's crazy.
as you can imagine, the talk didn't go well. I mean, long story short, all of his friends died, and he had to just sink a dagger in his father's chest. So, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But that's why he doesn't want to go back to his home planet. On the other hand, I asked about other members of his family, and he did mention before he left his planet, he made an oath to his father's father to recover a relic piece of armor that had been passed down in his family for generations until it got stolen by a Turian relic collector. So we just acquired that side mission to help him find that armor.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry you weren't there for that. I just tried to find something to do that wasn't action-packed while you're gone. But while you're here, let's talk to Ashley. You like Ashley.
Yeah. Oh, I still
How we
can't hear
doing?
it.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's got to be something on my end that I can't hear this. Let me see.
Well, let me read this to you while you work on that. She's saying, I asked her what she thought of the last mission, the last official mission that she'll comment on, because they only like comment on like, you know, story missions, not like side missions. She says she doesn't buy Dr. Tassoni Liara's story because she doesn't believe her and her mom just could not talk. They're family. And I believe Ashley's going to get into like how she's just really close to her family and she doesn't understand the lack of connection. But sometimes it be like that. Some families are close and some aren't. But I say I believe her because it's something that can happen understandably when you don't see eye to eye.
Yeah. Let me see. Is it my desktop audio that it wouldn't be coming through my desktop audio? It would be coming through my yeah, the desktop audio is set up all right. So it might actually be on your side, Heather.
Really? Because I can hear everything just fine. The volume's pretty high in the game. I have the volume like at a very reasonable amount. I wonder. I think I know what it is, honey. I have to share the game audio with you via via the voice meter. Hold on. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Can you hear it
Not
now? Do you hear this music?
yes.
That's what it
Yes.
is. I'm sorry. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Haha. Anyways, can we
Well,
talk,
shoot,
Ashley?
it was
Girl to
the
girl.
chat that went 15 minutes without being able to
Sure.
hear the game.
I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute.
Oh, your phone
Later,
went off.
sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Too late. Caden,
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
No, ma'am. And anyway, Scuttlebutt says he's already sweet on someone.
God damn it,
What's
it's
up?
me.
You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Tell me about your family.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Aw. That's something. Let's talk about her dad.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made Chief. First thing he did was salute.
That's real sweet that he'd respect his daughter that much, you know?
Yeah.
Let's ask about her mom.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
Well, isn't that just typical? Yeah, it's like you can't have both. Some people do have both, but it's just so incredibly challenging. Sometimes you gotta make the decision, and she did make hers. Let's talk about her
Yeah.
sisters.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school.
4 of them.
With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Ha! Let's talk about home.
Where did you grow up?
All over. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
That is tough. That is tough on kids, man.
Yeah.
After helping raise them, your sisters still talk to you? Amazing.
Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Well, that's good.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike.
Oh, great.
I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away.
Oh.
Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
Well, no means no, people.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I hate that. No, you just
Mike
don't
thought they'd
assume
go
the
for a
worst,
romantic
man.
walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed.
Ugh.
She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense.
Now I approve of that. I bet
took
you do too,
emergency leave
Brawny.
and walked Sarah to
Yeah.
school for a few days.
You know, I don't mention it much, at least not on stream, but half of the reason I got into martial arts was because one of my friends got sexually assaulted when I was how old was I? I was 13 when I started training, and it was really because of a school bully and a fitness issue. Like, I was morbidly obese at that age, but I was either 14 or 15 when I really like knuckled down into it because I needed to go get this guy.
I unfortunately too know a few people who have been assaulted as well, and it really does like put an impression on you of like just how bad the work can be. Because when you hear about that stuff, like TVs, true crime movies, it seems so far away, just like a scary story, but it just happens. But let's talk about the police.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Well, she beat
She
up
said
him.
It wouldn't solve the real problem, and she and Mike would both become household names. It was a small colony.
God, I hate that. Not
They said it
reporting
was her
things to
call
police
to
because
make,
you're afraid of what
that
people will
They
think.
should let her do it her way. Mom was pretty pissed
Yeah,
about that.
I experienced that too.
Self-defense.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into.
Oh, she's a Renaissance nerd. I never caught on about that. Like, I remember she liked sword fighting. She's got a weird sense of style too. Likes long skirts and tops you gotta tie her into. That's a fucking Ren nerd right there. That's fucking awesome.
Also, I just want to throw this out there. Aikido is not a martial art in the sense of you're going to learn fighting. Like, literally, the guy who invented Aikido said this is not meant for fighting. This is a fitness meditation. And I'm doing it through the lens of adapted it's called Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, which is a form of jiu-jitsu that kind of focuses on wrist and small joint manipulations, but proper Aiki Jiu-Jitsu looks way the frick different from Aikido. Aikido is literally not a fighting art.
Well, I guess it was enough for her parents. Let's see, what about you?
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
Cool. Let's see. Back to her original story. She said she took emergency leave to walk her sister to and from school because of the situation. Dedicated of you.
Traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like it was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy.
Well,
I
fuck
wanted to
him.
snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her.
Whoa.
I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk and there's blood everywhere.
Bitch. Like, that guy, some fucking nerve. He tries to pressure a girl into going all the way with him in a forest. She lands him face first in a tree. And, like, he's mad that, like, oh, everyone knows that I'm a fucking creep and also a wuss because my ex beat me up. And so what does he do? Yell at her, try to assault her again, and she lays him out again. Like, what were you expecting, you fucking moron?
Yeah.
That's
No,
unbelievable.
Gajillion, nobody entered
Grandma must be
Discord.
as
I
good as you.
muted myself real
Better.
quick so I could
I
cough
more or
without
less tried to
coughing
punch her.
into the microphone.
When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell.
That's good.
She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell.
Heh.
Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was going to end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying.
Good. He learned a damn lesson.
The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
I can respect that. Interesting story.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Is he dead?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there.
Tell that to the
I
Citadel.
cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly.
It was Elton John who did the lyric, Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kid. In fact, it's cold as hell.
Climates, councils, governments.
You read poetry?
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff.
Oh,
Just
you're that
don't
kind of
spread
chick.
around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem.
I'm not like other girls.
Reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
She literally is. It's a good piece.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home.
Oh, he's dead.
Passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching though.
From the afterlife? He's a ghost.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a...
Just want to let the chat know real quick. I do see you guys. I'll respond to some of you when this dialogue is done.
So we'll look at the options here. She says, that's not a problem with you, is it, that I believe in God? The fact that she has to ask is sad. I can either say, I'm Christian, or I could say, keep it to yourself. Leave that in the bedroom. Or,
now,
are you a fanatic? Are you crazy? Are you a Mormon?
Let's just, oh God, not Mormons. I say
I'm
I
gonna
do
say,
too.
of course not. Oh, well, if it is me or you. I was gonna say, of course not. Like I don't want to be like, oh, it's fine because I'm a Christian too. I'm gonna say, oh, it's fine because I'm fine with anybody being religious or whatever.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so
We're
in the
Christian
Charter.
in this dojo.
Fancier words.
I'm
I'm
not.
glad you're
Like,
open-minded about
what
it.
the fuck?
I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez.
You know, I hear a lot of scientists have this problem too. Like,
Hello,
they'll be
have
like, oh
people
yeah, I'm a
looked out
Christian,
the
but I'm a
window?
scientist. They're like,
How
how are
can
you a
you look
scientist
at
and a
this
Christian?
galaxy
That's
and
not
not
possible.
believe
But, like,
in
it is.
I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up too much of your
There's
time.
you know how we have those sayings that are like only half sayings, but
Dismissed,
most people
Chief.
don't know the other half, like
Ma'am.
the customer is always right kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well,
because
one
the
of
customers
those,
is right in terms of taste.
yeah.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. I was gonna go, like, my favorite one is that people will be like, hey, blood is thicker than water. Like, well, actually, the full thing is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Meaning, like, hey, it means the opposite of what most people think it means. Because my mom would say that all the time when, like, oh, we're fighting with each other as kids, and then it realizes, it's funny to realize as you grow up, you used that completely wrong, and I feel even more justified to not, like, take my family's side in things when I just know they're wrong.
Yeah, the thing about that, another one of those half sayings that we have is a lot of Reddit atheists, wannabe scientists, Rick and Morty fans like to say, oh, the first the first sip of science will make you an atheist or something like that. That's something that they say. They forget that the other half of that phrase is, but God is waiting for you at the bottom of the cup.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk to Tally. We haven't talked to her in a bit.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, great! She's happy!
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is. I still think a lot about my pilgrimage, though. I know Starin's our top priority, but with all the worlds we go to, I was hoping to find something to bring back to the flotilla.
Don't worry,
We've
you
still
will.
got a long way to go. You'll find something to take back.
Yeah, we'll find something
Yes,
for her.
but it cannot just be some derelict ship my people can use for salvage. It has to be more than that. There's a lot expected of me.
Why?
What's so special about you?
It's my father. He's the senior member of the Admiralty Board. He's one of only 5 people who can overrule the decisions of the Conclave for the good of the migrant fleet. My father is responsible for the lives of 17 million people. Our entire race is in his hands, and I'm his only child.
You're royalty!
So are you some kind of heir to the Quarian throne or something?
No, it doesn't work that way. My father's position isn't hereditary. I'll probably never serve on the Admiralty Board myself. Officially, I'm just the same as any other citizen, but it doesn't work that way in practice. People have always treated me differently because of who my father is.
Off-topic side note, I'd love to cosplay Tally one of these days, like just have time to just go through the pieces and remake. I particularly would love to make her because she looks different in Mass Effect 2. So I want to make the Mass Effect 1 suit, and then maybe the Mass Effect 2 suit.
Yeah.
Let's see, preferential treatment?
You must get all kinds of special privileges.
I probably had it easier than most growing up, but it's not all good. People like my father have enemies, and they're not above using me to get to him.
That's fucked. That's a lot of pressure, man. Sorry about that.
That must be tough on you.
My people place a high value on family and ancestry. There's an unspoken expectation that I'll live up to my father's example. Everyone's waiting for me to do something great on my pilgrimage, something that will forever change our lives for the better. If I don't, it's like I failed, and that reflects badly on both me and my father.
That's awful unfair. What if we save the galaxy?
The work you're doing here is more important than anything any Quarian's ever done before.
Yes, I know, but you have to understand Quarian culture. We're a very insular society. The events beyond the flotilla don't much matter to the average citizen. Our greatest dream is that one day we'll return to our homeworld and drive out the Geth. But even if we stop Saren, that's not going to happen. There's still millions of Geth behind the veil. Until they're gone, our exile will continue.
So what's the answer, is the question.
What would you need to bring back to make everyone happy?
Something that would help us better understand the Geth. They've changed significantly since the exile. They've continued to evolve. We've done our best to study them, but it's not easy. They're very reclusive. Until recently, they never went beyond the borders of the Veil. And all the Geth we run into now are under Saren's control. We'd need to find Geth operating on their own, independently. But I don't want this to get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
Let's ask about her father, because I believe this is the first time she's brought it up.
What was your father like?
It wasn't easy growing up as the daughter of one of the Admiralty. Even before he joined the board, he was a prominent figure. People looked to him for leadership. He had to set an example, and he expected the same of his daughter. Plus, he was pretty strict, a military man through and through. He never allowed me to settle for anything less than excellence. As a kid, I sometimes felt like he was pushing me too hard.
God, isn't that typical?
But now I'm old enough to appreciate what he taught me. The world doesn't owe us anything. If we want something in life, we have to earn it.
Let's ask about her mother.
Where was your mother in all this?
Mother was around, but she always seemed to kind of blend into the background. Almost like she was overshadowed by my father. He tends to do that to people.
That's kind of fucked
She
up.
passed on about 5 years ago. Some airborne virus that swept through the fleet. Happens sometimes when the filters start to break down. I think my father took it pretty hard. After she was gone, he became even more focused on his work. I think that was his way of dealing with the grief.
That's really sad that, like, frickin' and we'll learn more about Tally's father, but we get nothing else on the mom after this.
Sounds like a tough upbringing. You don't resent your father
That type
at
of
all?
thing happens, though, if you're,
Like I said,
you know,
it wasn't
prominent
easy.
enough
My
figure.
father's not the kind of
You
person
tend to
you
cast a
bond
shadow.
with,
It's just
and he
sort of
wasn't
the
around
nature
all
of
that
it.
much. Too busy. People counted on him, and he took his duties seriously. Even when he was around, he always seemed a bit distant, like his mind was always somewhere else. Come to think of it, I can't ever remember seeing him smile.
Well, he wears a mask.
Not once. It's like he was always weighed down by all that responsibility. I mean, I know he cares about me, but he never really showed it, not in the usual way. I guess the best thing I can say about my father is that I respect him.
Aw.
I want to talk about something else.
Yeah, this is depressing.
Like what?
Actually, I'm gonna go. Bye!
I should go.
See you later.
Yeah, we learned a
Alright.
lot from that. And we got experience. Let's get into some gameplay, shall we?
Yeah, and while we're doing that, I'll tackle some chat here. The first one I saw that I wanted to respond to was Wayne Amethyst saying, Brawny, have you read Fahrenheit 451 and what are your thoughts on it? I actually have not read Fahrenheit 451. There's a lot of those, like, really popular
Ooh,
books that
yeah.
most people tend to read in, like, high school that I really just never got around to. And in fact, I'll make a confession here that even though I'm a writer, I was never much of a reader. Like I just had a lot of trouble with reading, despite the, you know, how much I enjoyed writing and even like how much I studied like the art of writing when I was a teenager. And carried that into adulthood. It wasn't until I really got into the Brony fandom, because I started really participating in the fandom like around 2012 when I just did not have very much else going on in my life. So I filled a lot of that time by reading film fictions, and I in that time I
So you read?
got better. Yeah, I got better at reading. It's when I say I like to. It's when I like to say like, oh, I finally became literate in that time because I just needed the practice to read, but I never really had the time or the energy or the motivation to do so. So I got better at reading when I was, you know, much older.
Yeah, I personally was a voracious reader growing up. Like, I was reading, you know, what you would expect, girly books. Then I'd be reading, like, I read so many Halo books. But of course, because I read so much, I was really good at English in school. So I went to, like, advanced placement English. And they would give me the list of all the books they would love high schoolers to read. And they're just like, hey, pick from here. And I think I ended up picking, like, you know, The Great Gatsby and stuff like that. So I never read Fahrenheit, whatever the heck it was. Though I should probably add it to the list. I actually got a few books that were probably on that list now, so I can read them now and like get references to it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I still like to try and make time to read. I have books on my Kindle now, so I can read on the go or wherever. Okay, that's probably.
We're gonna be taking a trip in a little bit here, so you'll probably have time to read like on the plane or you know, when we're not doing anything. Let's see
Yeah,
here.
oh look, we found something. Paraffin is a
cool.
small and remarkable rock world. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of calcium with deposits of aluminum. Paraffin's low mass has left it tidally locked to the star Han. If there were any resources of value, mining stations would be established on the relatively temperate Twilight Band. We uncovered Matriarch's writings. Scans of Paraffin revealed an unmanned station in geosynchronous orbit. Your salvage team found no evidence of the origins of the station, but they did find one of the Matriarch Dylan Naga's writings on board. Sorry, Brony. Wanted to make sure I read that.
Okay, that's fine. What else we got here? Harriman says the game is still super quiet. I can barely hear it compared to yours and Brawny's voices. Atlas,
Chris.
Eric, Braxiatel, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hopefully I got it. So I'll just say Atlas for short. Atlas says, Brawny, you are very lucky to marry a princess like Heather. Heather is beautiful. And Brawny is lucky, is what he said. And yes, I am extremely lucky. Heather is way the frick out of my league. I don't know if you watch, like, her Chaos and Crochets where she's actually on webcam, but you should know she's frickin' smoldering. And, yeah, that's, let's see here. Wayne wanted to know how the sermon was today. I actually have not made it out to church, since Easter. I don't like that, but I just frankly need as much sleep and time off as possible. I'm very, very tired all the time, and I'm usually working pretty hard, especially during the week. So on the weekends, I just can't get up. Now, if that ever changes, if I can ever offload some stuff on my plate, I might, or, you know, just generally treat my depression, I might be able to, get some energy back, and I would love to go to church. I very much miss it. But, yeah.
Let's see, we're gonna land on Mavigon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mavigon is a small rock and ice planet with a thin atmosphere of ammonia and methane. The surface is frozen and mainly composed of tin with deposits of potassium. The planet has a rudimentary ammonia-based life, mainly concentrated around geothermal vents deep underground. Severe storm cycles are common due to limited visibility. Navigation may be difficult. Let's do it!
All right. Princess Celestia! And I have heard of the World English Bible. And yeah, that's pretty cool that they have that. Let's see what else we got here. Gojillion wants to know if we've read To Kill a Mockingbird, and yes, I have read To Kill a Mockingbird.
I have it myself. Would you recommend it?
It's interesting. It's depression. It's great. It takes place during the American Great Depression. I believe 1932 is when it takes place. It takes place in trying to remember. Was it Louisiana or was it Missouri? It was a southern state. And it's about and it's from the perspective of this little girl whose father is a lawyer defending a black man that everybody is certain is guilty of sexual assault just because he's black, and they're trying to get him death penalty, and this girl's father is trying to defend it. So it's kind of talking about the experience of what it was like, you know, being in this really old racist town during the Great Depression and watching this court case from the eyes of a little girl.
You know, that does sound like an interesting book. I might just pick that one up.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
These books are important. Yeah. Oh gosh, I really do got to go through my satchel here and see which books I'm taking. And I mean, I can burn through books if given the time. I don't know how it's going to be, so I guess there's no problem if I overpack on books.
Well, for however much you overpack on books, you're gonna have less room for whatever else that you might need. Or I just prefer to pack lightly. I don't think you'll burn through a book in a weekend, especially not To Kill a Mockingbird. It's not like Lord of the Rings thick, but it's not a short book either.
Hey, yo, honey, I almost forgot. For our honeymoon, or that trip we're gonna take in a bit, you have to bring not formal clothes, but something nice to wear to the nicer restaurants, because they have a little bit of a dress code.
Okay.
Are you ready for a Thresher Maw to inevitably appear?
Yeah, they always frickin' appear right about now. We're in a flat, you know, plains area. They're gonna show up.
God, there's some debris. Is it on the top?
And it's always it's gonna be so loud. It's gonna be horribly mixed. It's just you think, you know, they put all this effort into remaking the game that somebody would have caught on that the audio mixing for a Thresher Maw was just horrendous.
I suppose they should have, but they didn't. Okay, where's that debris, damn it? Where? Ah, there it is. Whee!
It's a good thing this thing literally can't tip over.
Yeah, incapable. Did it.
That was easy.
Yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be a difficult one. All right, no pressure ma yet. It's probably going to be at the damn Syndicate hideout. Well, save the game.
No, Wayne, I have not read Sherlock Holmes. How about you, Heather? Have you ever read Sherlock Holmes?
I feel like I tried to pick up the book at one point, but I didn't end up, I wasn't able to read it. Did I just destroy the debris? Oh, I did. That is my bad. Well, at least I recovered anything good.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody else had a question here. Oh, Rusty wanted to know, Brawny, what are the differences between traditional Aikido and the offensive version? Like, are they called something different? Okay, so there's a few different versions of Aikido out there. There's the founder of Aikido, whose name I can never remember or properly pronounce. He learned Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, and then he went off and fought in World War II for a while. And when he came back, he founded Aikido, and his whole thing was like, I don't want to fight anymore. I don't like violence. I don't want any more violence in the world if I can avoid it. So, but I want to, he's very similar to me in the idea of, I still want people to be healthy and fit and have a good way to you know, vent their the anger that they might have and meditate through it. So he sort of adjusted his Aiki Jiu-Jitsu techniques and the way that they're performed and the way that they're practiced with and on other people to make Aikido. And the goal there was, it was supposed to be meditative, and it was supposed to be exercise. With, you know, just kind of through this filter of of jiu-jitsu. Then, you know, as he got older, and I think he passed on, I can't remember what year he died, but the culture he built around that splintered at some point in time. And then there was because some people were thinking, oh, it should be practiced like an actual combat sport with competitions and learned practically for fighting applications and things like that. So, but there was the yeah, there was the section, the faction that wanted to do that, but there was also the faction that wanted to keep the founder's original vision of just having it be a peaceful martial art not meant for fighting. So there's then splintered off and created something called Shodokan Aikido. And there's actually competitions for Shodokan Aikido out there where you can actually punch and kick, but and you can, and the wrist throws that you see in Aikido techniques are allowed and legal, and there's a, you know, there's certain, some of them are, because others, if you do them under resistance, you have a high probability of injuring somebody really badly. And then the Russians invented something called real Aikido, which they claim to be for, you know, actual like self-defense or applicable even in like military operations. Frankly, I don't believe it, but it's, yeah, frankly, I don't believe them because
I wasn't saying that. I'm saying I was saying, oh my god, because I found gold, but continue.
Yeah, I would not have expected to find gold on a planet like this. But yeah, so you got real Aikido, which is a Russian martial art, if you get down to it, because they took Aikido and they're just, and they practice it with resistance, and they added back in some of like the old jiu-jitsu stuff where you're actually like trying to crack someone's neck or trying to really freaking hurt somebody with the technique. So it took all of the peaceful adjustments that made Aikido out of Aikido. So it's not really Aikido anymore, if you ask me. And yeah, that's what but all of that aside, Aikido, I'm gonna just say, is not viable for fighting. And unfortunately, like because I do karate for the most part, and the reason I do karate is because the best martial arts school in the town that I grew up in happened to be a karate school. So, you know, I went and I tried to find the best quality of training that I could get. But before I did that, I did something called Hapkido for 3 years and almost got a black belt in that. And Hapkido is what happens when you take Aikido and just mix in Taekwondo for no reason. So I know all the kicks of Taekwondo, and I know a bunch of you know, small joint manipulations that you might see out of Aikido, and did that martial art for 3 years. And I've had the unfortunate circumstances of having been in a lot of fights in my teens and 20s, and really almost even up to, like, actually, no, how old was I when I got in my last street fight? I was 27 or 28. The last time I was 27 or 28, the last time I was 28. Yeah, I was 28 the last time I got in a street fight. And I have only once in all of the fights I've ever been in all of the sparring, and all of the competition. So, you know, you could say thousands of fights over the course of my life so far. Once have I pulled off any kind of small joint manipulation technique, like the wrist throws that you see in Aikido. They're not viable techniques under resistance unless there is such a massive skill and strength gap between you and whoever you're using them on that you could have just as well avoided the fight in the first place. So, you know, reality of the situation. They're really cool techniques, though, and they're fun to learn and they're fun to practice. But the odds of you actually using one in any sort of combative situation are very, very slim. Wayne, I do not know why most of the Bible translations don't have the apocrypha. So I'd be interested in hearing your opinion on that. I'm probably going to run it by
look at this.
The physics glitch.
You missed.
I saw it. Yeah, so I'm interested in, you know, your opinion on it. I'm going to run it by our friend Shady Oak Ministries, and we'll see what he thinks. Atlas says Brawny buck karate. It involves Brawny's head. There's something about my family. We just have very thick, hard skulls.
Time to go. What's up?
All right, so Heather, what are we trying to do down here? I talked about karate for a long time.
Kill criminals.
Oh frick, we're fighting.
Shit.
Is that a Krogan?
It's fucking Krogan again.
You know, Heather, when you were telling me about what's his face, Garrus? No, the other one. The Krogan that's usually traveling with us. What's his name?
Rex?
Rex. Yeah, you were telling me about Rex's backstory. And I was like, hey, I know the last time we played this game, I was really like leaning into the me being a space racist type of thing. So, I mean, that's certainly not helping my case when, you know, we get people like Rex and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh, so he's one of the good ones. Because, like, the last time we streamed this game, I was just like, you know what? I think I'm racist against Krogans because, you know, everything from their planet is just horrible. The Krogans themselves are horrible and warlike and illogical and just violent by nature, and so are their dogs. And of course, the giant worms that we got to keep fighting are all from the Krogan planet. Yeah, Harriman quoting me in the chat with the 1360 quote. God almighty.
Where's the other guy?
I love using the 1360 meme in places where it's like not really fitting. Like there was a long time ago. Remember when we had the Alicorn debate on my channel, Heather? And I got you and Bliss and Reyes and I think that was it for like the Alicorn OCs, and Cordero was there, and I freaking opened the stream by going, why is it that Alicorns only make up 13% of Brony OCs, but make up 50% of the cringy backstories?
Because you had the stats on this. God, freaking, I gotta take a moment back.
I find it funny that we constantly go into these combat situations and nobody's wearing a helmet.
Oh, I have to toggle those on. It actually doesn't make a difference though.
Powering up.
My freaking pistol isn't working.
Gojillion wants to know what our favorite types of villains are. I like really smart villains. I mean, I just like smart characters in general, but I like strategists more often than not. But on the other end of that spectrum, I like Broly. I like berserkers that are just so incredibly strong that we just don't even know what to do about it. You know what I mean? So I'm, where usually I go for really strategic characters like King Sombra, or, I mean, there's been other villains. Like, I don't want to be able to figure out how to beat the villain. I want the protagonist to be able to figure that out. Or just completely on the other end, I like the freaking berserker. Oh, what do we got here? What did that say, Heather?
We killed both the two crime bosses that the chick Helena asked us to kill.
Nice. Let's see. What about you, Heather? What's your favorite type of villain?
I'm just down with the villains that are all for the style. I like distinguished voice acting. I like a very distinguished look. Hold
up, Heather. Distinguished, or do you mean distinguished, or do you mean distinctive?
I'm not sure which I mean, actually, because what I'm basically saying is I like a villain that makes a strong impression. Like, I'm not saying it has to have a baritone voice. I'm not saying I want a villain that's fuckable. I'm saying I want a villain that is just freaking makes themselves known the minute they're in the room, you know?
Heather, what the frick do you mean you don't necessarily need a bangable villain? Half of your husbando list is villains, like more than half.
They just happen to fall into that camp sometimes, okay?
God almighty.
Is this where I came in from? I think so. No, not exit building.
And like 90% of your husbando list doesn't even have faces. They're just masks.
Masks are freaking cool. Shut up.
I don't disagree. Atlas,
Like
I don't know what you're
English.
talking about. I wouldn't call myself a berserker. Heather, would you call me a berserker?
I don't think so. You don't seem very berserky.
I like to think that I could be that I am strategic when, you know, most of the time. You'll notice, like, because I know just by the way that Atlas talks and quotes memes to me, that Atlas, you know, knows me mostly from A Buck to the Face. You might have noticed in A Buck to the Face that Brawny does not win fist fights. He sucker punches people. And that's and anytime it's a fight, Brawny gets his butt kicked.
Crazy.
So I'm definitely a lot more of a stretch. Now, I definitely went just a little bit berserk at the end of Fame and Misfortune.
Well, who can blame you?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, I think I've rated this place for what it's worth.
Gojillion says, nah, I think you're more like a mashup between an anime protagonist with Aragorn. Aragorn? Like from Lord of the Rings?
Nice.
I guess. I'm not really familiar with that character.
I should really bring a second drink with me when I come in the room, because then I finish it while we're streaming, and I'm like, oh, I wanted another one.
Well, what were you drinking?
Some of the cider from my alcohol fridge.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well,
it's
you're
the
just
5%
kind of
one.
walking down hallways here. You want me to bring you another drink?
Sure, if you don't mind. Whatever
Alright,
flavor, I don't care. I'll get us set back on the Normandy.
Yeah, gentlemen, pardon me for a second while I go get my wife another drink.
Yeah, man, another drink. Thank you. Oh, wait, wrong button. I'm so silly. Return to the Normandy. Don't you guys just love action? All right, so let me check the journal. Let's see. Here it is, hostile takeover. Oh, not that. Go to the Fortuna system in the Horsehead Nebula and meet Helena Blake to claim your reward. Okay, Fortuna system, Horsehead Nebula.
Right, I'm here in Heather's office now.
Oh, great. What flavor did you get me?
It kind of looked like a peach on the front of it.
This one is Paloma. It's grapefruity. Don't drink
God,
that.
That tastes horrible. What
No.
is wrong with you?
It's fine to me because I taste a little stink of alcohol and a little bit of soda, but yes, it does. Oh wait, hold on. What flavor did you get? This is Bellini. This is peach. Hold on, let me taste it. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I taste the peach just fine.
I took a sip of that. I didn't even taste any peach. It just tasted like burning.
I think you have a problem, dude. Like, alcohol just, like, completely burns your tongue. I taste the peach just fine, and this is 5%, honey. 5%. Let me double check this. Yeah. It's only, like, 5%, so, like, it shouldn't even be that bad. Yeah. Well, anyways, we gotta go to the Fortuna system in the Horsehead Nebula.
Wayne wants to know what kind of Bible translation we have. Actually, my Bible is up in New York. I got to remember to bring it back down at some point in time.
I have a Bible somewhere in this place.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do believe I tend to gravitate towards New International Version. King James is also good.
Let's survey this Brawny, pronounce this. McGanless?
McGanless is what I would have said.
McGanless is a rock terrestrial with an atmosphere of sulfur dioxide and trace amounts of helium. Scans reveal ancient lava plains on the surface, implying a geologically active past. The crust consists of sulfur and basalts, but the planet's mass suggests a core of iron and heavier materials. Cursory drilled coring suggests the possibility of simple subterranean life. Let's survey this, shall we? Ooh, Turian insignia recovered. While scanning the planet Maganless, you discovered the remains of a damaged research vessel. Your recon team found no signs of survivors, but they did bring back a ROCOM outpost insignia. Gotta do all these little spare missions. Let's see, what are you? This is probably where we're gonna claim our reward, or we're gonna have to kill a bitch. One of those. Wentania.
Oh, hey, Heather, Harriman just said something that was patently false. Listen to this. He goes, Brawny might be a super taster. They have more taste buds and more sensitive taste buds, so sour, bitter flavors are stronger to them. Everyone else who, like, yeah, everyone else who knows me, everyone else who knows me and has, like, interacted with me is like, oh, you know, actually, like, my sense of taste is not that great. I barely even have a sense of smell. And that got pointed out one time we were hanging out with friends, and they were like, I was like, oh yeah, I can't really smell things. And they were like, well, how do you taste things? And then another one of our friends, I think it might have even been Cordero, was like, have you ever noticed that Brawny never really, like, like mentions anything tasted. I'm very sensitive to spice though. I don't have a very high spice
Yeah,
tolerance.
well, that's like a sensory thing.
Yeah.
This is Therumlan. Okay, Brawny, pronounce this one. Therumlan? Therumlan?
Thurumlan. I would have said Thurumlan.
Therumlan is a frigid world with a thick nitrogen-argon atmosphere. The crust consists of silicates and various unremarkable ores, but is surprisingly rich in phosphates. Since the atmosphere lacks free oxygen, the phosphates are relatively pure and could be of value in the manufacturing of fertilizers and incendiary ammunition. Let's survey. Rare element surveyed. While scanning this planet, you detected a small but valuable deposit of plutonium. Let's zoom out. Alright, let's go kick some old lady's ass. Let's see, Armenthine. Armenthine is a chilly rock world with an atmosphere of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Its frozen surface consists largely of light titanium and aluminum oxides, with deposits of thorium and other heavy metals located in the deep crust. Armenthine was named by the human poet Sophia Cabral during her tour of duty aboard the line surveyor ship Coop. Under the dim light of the red dwarf Fortuna, the surface of this world is lit in rich twilight blues and purples even at midday. Let's land. Let's do it. Girl, let me be a man. Take your hand, babe. Won't you understand? Yes, you can, girl. How'd you get so fine? Blows my mind, babe. Let's have a good time. Oh, girl, when I first saw you, oh, girl, I knew that you were the only one. Yes, you were the only lady for me. Lady for me. Oh, yeah, girl, out on the dance floor. Do a thing.
Oh, the fact that you were even able to see that, Heather.
Shit. Yeah. Yep, heavy metal surveyed. Hell yeah. Map. Let's see. I'm right here. I surveyed that. That's debris. That's an anomaly. And that's where I gotta go. Kitty, what is it? What? What? What, Kitty? I love you. Bye-bye.
Those cats are so annoying, Heather.
What do you want me to do about it?
I don't know. Fix it. Make them less
Free
annoying.
fall. How do you want me to do that? They're freaking cats. You can't do shit to them. You can't teach them nothing. They're too strong-willed.
Rusty wants to know who our favorite villains are.
Jeez, I have a list you should see. Like, if we're talking, like, ask me a series and I could tell you. I could tell you from My Little Pony, Queen Chrysalis, because Queen Chrysalis was one of those characters that really just, like, made their presence so spectacular. I didn't even care that, like, you know, it was kind of revealed last minute and came out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? But, yeah, I really love Queen Chrysalis. As you can tell, I cosplay her quite a bit. If I had to pick a different series, you know, who I'm thinking of is Demon Slayer. And I think his name was Gato. You remember, it was like from the Red Light District or whatever series. Saga.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
he
the
was very
dude.
identifiable. Yeah, he was very identifiable and just had such a presence, you know?
Yeah.
I really liked him. Not so much his
so
sister, but mostly him.
how about this, Heather? If we, you know, just ask you the question directly of who is your favorite villain, what is the first name that comes to your head?
The easiest thing for me to say is Cobra Commander, but I don't think I like him for the reasons that make him a good villain. It depends on the iteration. I suppose because there's so many iterations of Cobra Commander at this point, it's easy to say him because there's the original 80s one that was hilarious. And then there was the G.I. Joe Resolute one that just had such great voice direction behind it. So freaking distinguished. And then there's the G.I. Joe Renegades one, who just seemed like hyper intelligent, and you wanted to know more about him. He was a mysterious figure that you want to know more about, clearly ill. That was great. So like there's just so many iterations of Cobra Commander that I like, that basically give you every kind of villain you'd want to have. There's one that's intimidating, there's one that's hilarious, there's one that's mysterious. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of Cobra Commander that you can get. I'm heading in the wrong direction, damn it.
The first two names that come to my head when I get asked what's your favorite villain are King Sombra from My Little Pony and Zahir from Legend of Korra.
Really? Zahir?
Yeah, he was the guy that turned into an airbender.
I guess I hear what you're saying, because, like, I only watched the first season of Legend of Korra, and that first season ending just rubbed me so in the wrong direction, I didn't follow it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can understand my reasoning, too.
Yeah, because, yeah, I didn't like the way that they handled that.
Ooh. Turian insignia recovered. You found an intricate beaded necklace marked with the Galatana colony insignia. It appears to be very old. Wow. Cool stuff. Adventure.
And now Atlas wants to know favorite Batman villain. I don't really think about Batman villains that much.
I love Batman. Now that there's his rogue gallery is so huge, though. A lot of people like the newer stuff, like the Court of Owls is slightly newer, so people are really like super into it. But man, that's tough. That is so tough. You could go pretty basic and say Joker. I have cosplayed Harley Quinn, but her character arc is like not as related to Batman, so I don't think that's right. I love Catwoman purely because, you know, femme fatale, Catwoman. But if I had to say, like, let me go through it. Let's see, not Penguin. The Scarecrow is always interesting depending on who's handling it. Freaking, definitely not Clayface. Freaking.
I like to go with Bane because he's
Bane is pretty good.
he's the brains and the brawn. Like, yeah, he's a super muscly fighter and all that, but people tend to forget that Bane figured out that Batman was Bruce Wayne.
Oh, I don't forget that, and he's the man that broke the bat. I gotta think about this more, because I feel like I do have a favorite, but I can't recall which one is my favorite. I loved Scarecrow.
Yeah, and Ra's al Ghul as well. So, you know, basically people that are as smart as Batman.
You know who it is, but I was like, it's my favorite Batman character. I don't know if he really counts as a villain because he was antagonist at once. Red Hood! Red Hood. Because that's like an enemy of Batman's own making, you know? Like, really. I think that's the one that really challenges him the most morally. Well, hello.
Hello again, Commander Shepard. I owe
you were just waiting there for us.
Creepy and packing
my former
heat.
partner's dead. This syndicate is now mine. I could not have done it without you.
Bitch!
I killed them because they deserved it. Now I'm placing you under arrest.
Surely you don't think that necessary. Under my leadership, this organization will restrict itself to gambling and smuggling illegal technologies.
Oh yeah, just that.
These crimes are hardly worth your time. If you press the issue, my assistants are very well equipped to deal with you.
And this is why we have Paragon options. Walk away. Just take the opportunity I'm giving you and walk away.
This gang has a reputation for drugs and slaving. It's too late to change that.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps this organization has been so tainted by those two idiots that it cannot be redeemed. If I disband the gang, I walk away freely. I have not come so far to be arrested. I would
sure, why
die
not?
before going to prison. I would most certainly kill before going to prison. Now, do we have a deal?
Yeah, sure. I don't give a shit.
You're free to go. I don't ever want to see this gang again. If I do...
You won't. I'm not so foolish as to break my word to a specter.
Thank you.
Now, if you'll excuse me, my men become nervous in the presence of law enforcement agents. Goodbye, Shepard.
Bye-bye. Hey, can I go in here and steal your shit? Thank you.
Let's see
I'm
here.
gonna go ahead and...
Blue Gryphon says Mr. Freeze is his favorite Batman villain. I can totally see that.
Oh yeah, Mr. Freeze has such a beautiful and tragic backstory.
Mr. Freeze probably has the best motivation out of any Batman villain.
Yeah, we get it. Freaking...
Who would win, Heather or Silverquill? I think Heather.
Yeah, Silverquill. Well, it depends on what kind of, you know, challenge.
Yeah. Like
Sure,
Heather,
become
we
a
never
fun
really got a chance, and I don't know if I'll ever get a chance in my videos to like go over like your, you know, magical talents and abilities, especially as an alicorn. But given that you and I have like talked it over a little bit, I, without exaggeration, believe that you have that, you know, your character, Princess Heather, has the potential to be the most dangerous fighter in Equestria.
Yeah, and I'm not even like trying magically overpowering myself. Like, because my origin story, I'm sure I've said it before, but my pony started as an earth pony and ascended to alicorn hood basically accidentally. That wasn't really meaning to. And she, you know, got the wing and horn. Oh, what do you mean my skill's too low? Fuck you.
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
about to level that shit up. You bet fucking, you bet your ass. Was it a decryption? Yeah, fucking yeah. How about now? Damn it.
So, yeah, you accidentally became an alicorn, and then what?
Fucking... And so I get the horn and wings all at once. Now, some things are easier to, like, get a hold on than others, and magic is one of them. She's not too, like, you know, powerful magically yet. I'm sure with 1,000 years of work, she'll become just as powerful as any other alicorn. But at the moment, she's only really mastered spell that are all, I like to say, glitz and glamour. Illusion stuff. Things that fucking... like Trixie could do. Things that Trixie could do, but maybe even a bit better. Like, I've made it... I've in a couple of my older videos, I even made it that she can shapeshift to a degree.
Yeah, and I always headcanon that out as to, like, you're using your magic to shape, like, to cast the illusion spell around you. And so it's like light.
Yes.
It's like a light spell. But then you know, at the next level of that, you could make it into, like, hard light. So it would be like you are shape-shifting, even though you're not. So that's one thing we could, one ability we could give to Heather there is shape-shifting, you know, typical other magic, like, combat abilities like teleportation and magic bolts, you know, some spells and things like that. But with the ability of, like, glamour and illusions, if she gets good at that, she could, and, you know, I wanted to do this in my videos too, where she, like, actually trains and builds it up. She could do things like,
Yeah,
she could do things like one idea I had was, what if she could, like, clone herself with the illusions, but then, like, so there's only, like, one real Heather and the rest of them are just light projections, but then she, like teleports between them,
say,
so you never know which
like,
one is the real Heather.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
like fucking clone ninjutsu and fucking... Okay, I could do sexy ninjutsu.
yeah, and so substitutions, things like that. She could look like she could cast the illusion, make herself look like a reality warper, where, like, you don't know which direction is up or down. She could invert perceptions, and, like, at the high end of things like this, Heather could probably cast a domain expansion.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. There's a video I wanted to make where Heather and Brawny are fighting together, and Heather would cast a domain expansion. And other than that, she's an alicorn, so there's plenty of power behind those punches. And not
Oh,
for
yeah.
nothing, but like at that point in time, the only OC in the fandom that could hold a candle to Heather would be me, because and like right now I don't know if I'll ever be able to finish a buck to the face, but right now Brawny is going through an arc where he's like learning to see through everything. So like Brawny is specifically gaining a skill set where he sees through illusions, so illusion magic wouldn't work on him anymore. And even so, like, even if his perception is getting really screwed with, if he knows it's an illusion, it's not going to work on him. You know? Like, you might make me think that I'm seeing the area around me and suddenly I've fallen off of a cliff, right? But if I know that there wasn't actually a cliff there, I'm just going to keep running.
Right. I bet him. That makes total sense. So I kind of like how we've come up with it, because like I don't know, when I originally conceptualized the alicorn and stuff, like I just, in a way, I was trying to nerf myself by saying, oh no, I don't have all the godlike power and shit like that right now. This is all my pony is good at. But like, you know, in a way, that stuff can be an incredible strength. I guess it all depends on how you use what you're given. You know, it's like it's not the size, it's how you use it. But on the other hand, I'm not sure. But anyways, I found a Prothean data disk. You like it? I detected a weak signal coming from the far side of the planet Alramutter. Joker brought the Normandy around, and your salvage team picked up a small escape pod trapped in the orbit. There was a long dead Turian inside, along with a few personal items and a Prothean data disk. Cool.
Alright, so what mission are we working on now? We've been streaming for over an hour, so we should...
Yeah, I was thinking we'd wrap it up soon, but I'm getting us in position for like when we next get on stream. This should be the system that we'll be into next. We'll probably be landing here in Renshato.
Yeah. Harriman says, Heather's domain expansion is throwing a bunch of Brawny clones at her enemies. Brawny's domain expansion holds his enemy in place and negates their defenses. Brawny doesn't... Okay, so like, when I say domain expansion for Heather, I still, like, mean it in a, like, My Little Pony, you know, how equestrian magic would work kind of way, where, yeah, but domain expansion was just the closest parallel I had to it, you know, and I'm talking,
Brawny,
like... Yeah?
Oh, I was gonna say, if I had domain expansion, what do you think my little hand signal would be?
I don't know enough about Japanese Shinto mudras in order to answer that question, unfortunately.
You know what I was thinking is that it would be like a fucking, like I do like a freaking selfie pose with my two fingers up, like domain expansion.
Yeah, Rusty says your powers sound cool like Mysterio, and yeah, that's kind of. But like the idea that I had for your character, Heather, was to make that like an arc where you, like the first time you get in a fight in my show, you're just using like teleportation, magic bolt, things like that, and then later on you like figure out how to do the shape shifting, and then you figure out how to do the perception warping or other glamours, and then mix up all of these spells, and then like the higher end of that, and this is what I was saying a second ago, is the domain expansion is just the closest parallel I have to explain the concept, but it would be like Heather mixing shield, like a shield spell, with a really high level illusion spell. So here she creates this dome where she just completely makes whatever is inside it look like whatever she wants it to look like.
Yeah,
and you don't know which direction, but that's like the highest level of like what she could probably perform, and like most unicorns probably wouldn't be able to pull that off, but because she's an alicorn and can learn to really put that much like magical oomph behind it, she can learn how to do that type of thing. So Blue Gryphon domain expansion is it's a power system from a show called Jujutsu Kaisen, or it's a manga, right? But you know, you see it, it's an anime as well. And basically you create this psychic field where you're in control of reality, basically. And yeah, that's you know, but so that's the closest parallel that I can make to like what the highest level of what the, you know, Pony OC Princess Heather Blossom could do in Friendship is Magic. It's just the same way with like Whole Grain from A Buck to the Face, and he enters what's called the flow state, where he taps into equestrian magic, and you see like the literal flow of equestrian magic when he's at peace, when he's like perfectly at peace and has the highest level of understanding of his destiny and cutie mark and how it relates to everything he does. And he's trying to sort of teach that concept to Brawny right now, even though he doesn't believe that Brawny will ever reach flow state. But Whole Grain can reach flow state himself, and the closest parallel I can draw so to explain the concept to other people is actually like the Avatar state from The Last Airbender. So it's the flow state in A Buck to the Face is most similar to like the Avatar state, where you just have this highest level of understanding of what you're doing, and what your destiny and what your purpose
Looking for
is.
supplies?
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
Oh, we've done quite a heavy lore dump, Brawny. Are we ending the stream for tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a good place to end the stream for tonight, especially if we're just doing some shopping. But well, let's come back to this next Sunday if we can, because I gotta do one more makeup stream to make up for missing work last week.
Sunday.
Yeah, so we will see you guys for more Mass Effect next Sunday. But we're gonna see you guys. I think our next streams are going to be on Saturday for, you know, Brony debates and whatever I have going on for Saturday SmackDown. So we will see you guys then. Until then, stay safe. God bless. And